Hi, I'm Christina, and this is a book review of Land of Milk and Honey by C Pam Zhang. So this is a science fiction novel. It was published in 2023, and I first heard about it when it was nominated for the Goodreads Choice Awards in 2023 in the science fiction category. So this is a dystopian fiction book, and in this world, a smog has spread, originally from a cornfield in Iowa, and now a horrible famine has ravaged the Americas and Southeast Asia. But the smog has taken about a year and a half to reach Europe. So our main character is an unnamed woman. She is a chef and she is 29 years old. So she decides to take a job as a private chef at an elite research community. The community is at the very top of a mountain, and the mountain is situated on the French-Italian border. So the mountain itself is above the level of the smog, so they can still grow crops and she'll still have access to some of the best ingredients in the world. Now, the people who live in the community are very, very wealthy, and their money is going towards funding the projects of the community. Now, the job itself is definitely a lot more than just being a private chef, but I don't want to give away any spoilers, so I'm not going to say anything more than that. So, in terms of what I've rated it, I've given it a kind of low 3-star, but probably more of a 2.5 star, and I'll explain why. So I thought the concept of this was brilliant. I love climate fiction, dystopian fiction, speculative fiction, and I thought it had a very good concept, but I don't think the execution of it was as good as it could have been, unfortunately. Now, some of the things I really love about this story is it's absolutely beautifully written. She is a beautiful, beautiful writer. The prose itself is absolutely gorgeous. And there are so many descriptions of food. So obviously our main character is a chef and she loves food, she loves ingredients, and the kind of passion that she has for food absolutely comes across on the page. I don't think I've ever read a book which describes food as beautifully as this one does. But unfortunately, the things I really liked about the book in the beginning kind of got a little bit boring towards the middle. So I would have said, yes, the best things about this book are the beautiful writing and obviously the descriptions of the food. Loved it until I got to about halfway through, and then unfortunately, the very things that I really, really enjoyed about the book got a little bit tiresome, a little bit boring, and I just was hoping for more of a story and more of a plot. Unfortunately, which is such a shame to say that my favourite things about the book also kind of got a little bit boring towards the end, which is such a shame. But yeah, beautifully written, wonderful descriptions of food. Now, some of the themes are really, really good. She tried to do a lot in this book. So she's looking at the themes of family, of identity, of race, of belonging in a country, and, you know, belonging in a community. And she talks about racism, she talks about wealth and class and the divide between the super, super wealthy and the poor. And she had a lot of interesting themes. And then obviously the big themes such as kind of climate change, climate fiction, what we're doing to the world, you know, in terms of famine and poverty. And again, the divide between rich and poor, the super, super rich. And I feel like she had a lot of really good themes that she touched upon, but she didn't really delve into it as much as I wanted her to. So yeah, I enjoyed it enough, but I was ultimately a little bit disappointed by it. So overall, I think it's written absolutely beautifully, and I think the descriptions of the food are absolutely unparalleled. I don't think I've ever read a book which focuses on food and describes food in this way. It was brilliantly done, but like I said, about halfway through it got a little bit tiresome and I just wanted more of everything else. But all the way through, the descriptions of the food are absolutely excellent. So maybe if you love food and you're a big foodie, you might enjoy that. But like I said, yeah, that was something I really liked, and then after a while I just needed a bit more of everything else. In terms of the characters, I don't think they were as fully developed as I would have liked. And then because of that, I wasn't quite as invested in them as people, in them as characters, in the story. In terms of the relationship, we have a sapphic romance, and it is a good romance, but it's not a great one, in the sense that I don't feel like the foundations of their relationship were really fully established. And I didn't feel as invested in the relationship because I wasn't particularly as invested in the characters themselves as I would have liked. And it kind of felt like we didn't have the build to the relationship, and a little bits of me were just wondering, it felt like they were only together because there was nobody else there, and I wanted to root more for the relationship, but it just seemed to come out of nowhere, and there was no particular underpinning to it. So yeah, I wasn't as invested in the relationship as I would have liked, because I don't feel like we set the groundwork for their relationship to be great. And yeah, I think I was hoping for a little bit more of the science fiction-y side, and a large part of this story kind of falls more into a romance. So it's a little bit of a difficult one to put into a genre. So obviously Goodreads put it into the science fiction category, and it is science fiction 100%. It's a dystopian fiction, it's kind of climate fiction, and I love that genre, but a lot of it is also, I would say, a romance at its heart. And I think another thing that I didn't enjoy as much as I would have liked, everything was resolved rather quickly. So this all felt like, you know, on a global scale, a massive problem, an insurmountable problem. And then a lot of things kind of resolve themselves incredibly quickly. And at the end, kind of the way the relationships kind of resolve themselves, and then we see her in the future, over the decades, and everything just kind of happened very quickly at the end. We spent a lot of time, she was only on this mountain for about a year. We spent a lot of time focusing on that. And then the last decades and decades of her life and everything she did afterwards was just very fast. And yeah, I don't know. It was an okay kind of story. I've given it 2.5 stars. I think it might be a little bit forgettable for me, unfortunately. But yeah, this is one of those books that I really wanted to love a lot more than I did. And ultimately, I was just a little bit underwhelmed and a little bit disappointed by it. So thank you so much for watching. Please do like the video if you've liked it, and please do subscribe if you'd like to hear more of me talking about books. Now, if you have read this book, I would love to know your comments down below. I haven't really heard that many people talking about it, and I would love to just hear what you have to say on it. Now, I would definitely read from this author again. I know this is her second novel, and her debut novel is called How Much of These Hills is Gold. So if you have read that one, I would love to know your thoughts on it, whether I should read that one. If you've read both, do you think I will like that one more, for example? And I would definitely consider reading whatever she writes next. I know I haven't given this one a particularly high rating, but like I say, she writes so beautifully. I'd very much be happy to read something else by her again. But just, yeah, a little bit disappointed by it, and I really did want to love it more than I did. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.